The Louie T Network is powered by MusicHead University. MusicHeads, classes in session. Turn me up. Enroll on YouTube now. Link is in the description.
Who else could it be but me, your man, Louie T? Welcome to Joint Practice versus New England Live and React. We're going to be in real time reacting to all of the tidbits that we're going to be getting. I've got on my screen in front of me the New England Patriots stream of practice. It's going to be trash. Don't get like, I know a lot of you have been sending me the link. I appreciate it. We knew that the Patriots were going to have something on their channel. Every time we have a joint practice with someone, they have it on their channel. But if it's not at our stadium, which these or our practice facility, which most of these joint practices aren't, you're not going to get them focusing in on our team. So you're only going to see what they want us to see. And a lot of their focus is going to be on the Patriots, what Drake may, and the first team offense, what the first team defense may be doing. You're not going to see a lot of the commanders. You're not going to see what our players are doing. And that's how it's supposed to be. It's their coverage. So we'll take what we can from what they're showing us. I don't anticipate them showing the entire practice, right? But they'll show us about 30 minutes to an hour of it. And again, it won't be much that we can get from it. But what I'll also do is I'll be with you guys, and I'll also put up on the screen the X, and I'll be toggling through different beat reporters to see what they're saying. They'll be giving us some live updates and seeing what people are saying is going on at practice. So we'll go through this for the duration of practice, see how things go, and we'll be here live for much of the joint practice with the Patriots. So we'll discuss. I want to start off today, though, talking about what DQ had to say. He had a press conference before the joint practices kicked off, and they're about to get started here shortly. As far as injuries are concerned, who made the trip, who didn't, playing time for the next 3 days, today, and then obviously on Friday. None of it a surprise. I talked about most of this over the last couple of days of what I thought would transpire in terms of who would be out of this game, which would mean more playing time for certain individuals. I've talked about Sam Hartman's going to get a great opportunity. This is a big two games, right? Really 3 days for Sam Hartman. Like, he's not like, we'll talk more. I'll express my opinions on that here in a second, but let me go ahead and share my screen here and get this X up. And let's go ahead and get to a lot of these people that'll be probably giving us some play-by-play. And we'll, like I said, we'll be let's see if he's there. Yeah, he's there. So we'll start off with Zach Selby, and then we will kind of just go through as many of these as we can. So I'll have, like I said, this up on the screen with me the entire in the duration of the show so that we can keep tabs on what's going on. And I'll toggle through multiple X chats, which will keep us informed of what's going on. And that way we'll be able to really get a good sense of what's going on. All right. So I'm gonna keep a bunch of these on deck. So let's talk about, while I'm setting all of this up, I can talk to you guys at the same time. So Um, DQ started out his press conference by talking about a number of guys who did not make the trip. There were 5 guys who didn't make the trip based off of injuries, and then 2 more that didn't make the trip based off of their list designations, both being on the pup list. Obviously, those 2 are Sam Cosmi and Terry McLaurin. The other 5 guys who did not make the trip have been guys that either have missed practice or they're trying to be a little bit cautious in how they approach their current situations. Those guys are Javante John Baptiste, who didn't practice on Monday, which kind of told us again, a lot of the guys that didn't practice on Monday was sort of a precursor. There were like 1 or 2 other guys who didn't participate Monday that he didn't mention today, like Mikey, for instance, didn't practice Monday, but he's obviously there and he's going to participate. But um, he JBB didn't, so Javante John Baptiste didn't practice on Monday. He's not in attendance. Jordan McGee, that's the one that has like bells and whistles going off because I'm like, here we go again with this shit with Jordan McGee. But DQ said none of these injuries are serious. So I'm going to take him at face value. He has never lied to me in that regard to this point. And so I'm going to take it at face value and say that it's just precautionary measures that are being taken here. I'd rather, Jordan McGee miss the first preseason game and be healthy the rest of the season than to worry about him playing in a joint practice in a first preseason game and then worry about him being, injured and banged up as we approach the start of the regular season. He's a big part of what we want to do this year. We need Jordan McGee healthy. And he could just be one of those dudes that just can't stay healthy. I hope that's not the case, but he could just be one of those dudes that just isn't able to stay healthy. Let's hope that that's not the case. Brandon Coleman, we know he got rolled up on about 2 practices ago, hasn't returned to practice since. I knew he wasn't participating. That's not a big deal. It sucks because this is the same track that his rookie season took. He was fine all throughout the offseason, fine throughout all of camp. You get right to the first joint practice in the first preseason game. Bam, he gets injured. His entire rest of the preseason was done. And he was able to come back right before the start of the season. This ankle injury may provide the same exact timeline for him leading up to the season. He needs all the reps he can get at guard, and this sucks because here we are again, joint practice, preseason game. He's not going to be able to play in either of them, and I wouldn't be shocked if he missed next week's game either, depending on the severity of the ankle injury. Because the next game isn't until the 18th, that's a good sign that we have time. So there's 10 days between the first preseason game on the 8th and the second preseason game on the 18th. So, which is a Monday night. So there could be a chance that he could play there. Again, I'm not stressing it, but if he doesn't play in the second preseason game, I doubt that they're going to throw him out there with a bunch of funny lookings in the third preseason game because none of the starters are playing in the third preseason game against the Ravens. So again, if we want to see him, the time to see him is going to be the second preseason game. I don't know if that's feasible with the ankle injury or not. So that kind of sucks. Marcus Mariota, which he's been in and out of the lineup. I told you guys that I didn't expect him to participate today. Don't need to see him either. I think we are clear on that. We saw what he could do last year. Last year, he had limited reps in the preseason, and then he was excellent for us in the regular season. He's a veteran. He knows his way around the football field. I don't think we have any doubts about what he can provide for us. So there's that. And then um, Noah Brown, and they've been taking it slow with him. Expected him to be out, not a surprise. So those were the 5 guys: Javante John Baptiste, Marcus Mariota, Jordan McGee, Brandon Coleman, and Noah Brown were the 5 guys that were out of practice today. So again, not a big surprise. A lot of those guys are guys that we expect to be here, be out of practice today. And so everybody's stretching right now, warming up. So let's see how everything goes for this joint practice. So I see somebody in the comment asking, is Terry in Boston? No. The pup list guys did not make the trip. And the 5 guys that I mentioned did not make the trip that are not participating. So in my mind's eye, the press conference for DQ was at 9:45, 9:50. I figure practice will probably start around 10:30-ish. Looks like Mike Vrabel is gathering his crew right now, probably giving them the speech about, hey, we want to keep this clean, no fighting, all of that good stuff. So my guess is they're about to disperse to the 2 different fields that they have out there, and we're about to get the show on the road. I saw him and DQ talking earlier on the Patriots Unfiltered coverage, and I guess they were kind of going over what they envision this practice looking like, how they want to go about it. DQ also mentioned the playing time over the next 3 days, right? Really, the next 2 days of participation, which are today and Friday. Um, and he basically said that some guys are going to play a lot today, not play Friday. Some guys are going to play some today, some Friday. Some guys are going to play very little today, a lot on Friday. Some guys are going to play none today and a lot of Friday, which is what I told you already. Translation: Jaden Daniels and the starters, is what I told you, and the defensive starters are going to play a ton today. They're not playing on Friday. Like, this is like, if you followed enough football, you've done this long enough, and you know, right? Like, I wasn't telling you something that you didn't already know. DQ's not telling us something unless he's coming with some different way and methodology of going about this. We saw what he did last year, right? And the only reason he played Jaden in the first preseason game was because Jaden was a rookie and he needed reps. One possession, he went out there, scored, took him out of the game, right? They do not want their starters in this first preseason game. They're not going to play their starters in the third preseason game. So that only leaves one game, and that's the second one. And I expect I expect to see starters in that second preseason game. But for today, really the rookies, and I talked about this on my Bleacher Report quick hit. You don't see a lot of rookies get opportunities in joint practices. It's not for them. Unless you're a core starter as a rookie, like a Trey Amos, this isn't for you, right? You're going to see guys like Josh Connolly Jr. get reps in this joint practice. Absolutely, they're going to get him out there. But he's going to play on. He's a part of that. Play some today, play some on Friday, right? That's where Josh Connolly is. That's where Jalen Lane is, right? Guys that are going to play some today, some on Friday, right? Jaden and most of the starters are a part of that. Play a lot today, none on Friday, right? And then some of those other guys, those ancillary parts, guys that are, third stringers, guys that are fighting for back end of the roster spots, guys that are core backups, little playing time today, a lot of playing time on Friday, right? So that's basically what DQ told us. And then he talked about customizing reps for players this time of the year. Again, same thing that we just talked about. Some guys are gonna play, others will not, and so that's not a big surprise. Um, we expect the first team offense, first team defense to get a vast majority of the reps today, and that is to be expected. So let's go over to John Keim's page, and made a mistake. Let's go over to John Keim's page. He's got a couple things up here. Um, all right, let's go over to Keim's page. So as you can see, got some periods here with the team warming up. You can see the team got to the bag drills, as you can see right here, got the bag drills going. So you see what time it is. They're getting ready, doing their thing. Patriots are going to be in their blues. We're going to be in the white. They're going to get this party started probably here in the next. Like, I was thinking 10:30. this is looking more along the lines of possibly 11 o'clock at this point now. It's actually a really nice day in New England, 70 degrees. Tom tweeted that out earlier. So it feels kind of like fall, which is when the season will start. So pretty cool stuff. I like the fact that fans are there. I saw like an angle where I think I seen the stands and I saw fans there, so that's pretty cool. Josh Harris, Mitch Rails, Mark Klaus, all in attendance, as you can see here from Kime. So um, Kime says Quinn said that those that play a lot today will not play Friday. Translation: no starters will play Friday. Duh, right? Like this is the conversation we've been having over the last couple of days. He said it'll be the Josh Johnson, Sam Hartman show at quarterback most of the preseason. Yep, except for the second game. You're gonna actually see Jaden Daniels. If Marcus Mariota is healthy enough to participate, you'll probably see him in the second preseason game for a possession or two. And then it'll be back to the Josh Johnson, Sam Hartman show, right? Which is to be expected. Kime said also 7 players that did not travel to Foxborough, which is what DQ told us. Cosme and McLaurin, both on the pup list. And then Noah Brown, Coleman, Marcus Mariota, Jordan McGee, and Javante John Baptiste also did not make the trip as guys that are a little banged up. So, again, we're going to continue to go through this. I'm going to be watching on the screen as you probably are as well. And we're going to really update everything that's being said. So this is Nikki Javala's page, and she said that DQ said he wants his players to be fully turned up. And she said, I just wanted to tweet out fully turned up. Well, that's our coach, though. You know, coach is going to come with a little bit of the sauce. We love him because he's different. He's not like the rest, right? There goes Antonio Gibson. Gibby, a.k.a. Gibby, which he didn't like, but he's not a player here anymore. Still family, though. But he didn't like us calling him Gibby. But he's no longer a commander, so I'm going to call him Gibby now. But there he is. He actually played really well for the Patriots last year, too. Quinn said that Marcus Mariota is dealing with a lower leg strain, low level of concern. So, again, not much to see here as of right now. Bag drills, as we saw on John Kime's page, and we'll continue to cipher through all of the things that are being said. And this was what I saw earlier. DQ was chopping it up with Mike Vrabel, kind of mapping out how practice is gonna go, et cetera, et cetera. So let me see if I can think of anybody else who might be a good person to be toggling through on the comments to keep us abreast of what's going on. I guess I could throw Ben Standing up here too. Um, you know what? Mitch Tischler, I'm gonna throw him up here. Um, he's got Jaden throwing through the net right here and warm-ups, something that Caleb Williams failed to be able to do consistently. Um, so Jaden doing that, and then Jaden again through the net to the right, and then Jaden to the left. It's easy work for our quarterback. I can't speak for nobody else quarterback. Easy work for our guy, though. You see Jaden getting height? Y'all see Jaden height? Check him out. Check out how hype he is. After he get both of these. Whoop. Watch how hype he is. Whoop. Look how hype he is. Ah! Yeah, that's my
if I would send him the full video of it.
Yeah. We'll be he says fans watching from every angle up here in New England. I saw fans everywhere from the shot. They had a wide shot in New England of the fans that were in attendance. I didn't see these ones like watching from all the way up in the rafters and stuff like that, but there's fans watching everywhere. So it's a good environment for practice, man. Come almost like a game-like environment. So you love to see it. You love to see it. So we'll continue to toggle through all of these different social media feeds as practice gets underway. This from our girl Candy. She said that totally forgot Morgan Moses is with New England and will be good to see Gibby also today. So we just saw a picture of Gibby on one of these social media feeds. Um, and I forgot Morgan Moses. I forgot Momo was over there with the Patriots. So that's also interesting too. So um, that is very, very interesting. All right. Okay. So the Patriots Unfiltered just stopped. So yeah, I figured I thought they would give us a little something. I mean, they could have kept that, but I'm not surprised that that's what we got. Um, this is how it normally goes when it comes to joint practices. They're not going to show much. I know the Ravens, when we practiced with them last year, they show all Raven stuff. We barely saw our team do anything. So this is generally what it looks like. I thought we'd get something though. I didn't think they would literally be on for the press conference and them stretching and then get off. What was the point of that? But um, also, um, when we did it, when we had a joint practice in Washington, they showed a lot of us and they didn't show much of the practice itself. So again, I'm not surprised by that. Let me pull up some more um, X accounts that we will toggle through to keep us abreast of everything going on. All right. I don't think he's there in attendance. Um, I said I was gonna put Ben Standing up here with us. We'll grab him too and see what he's got. All right, so we'll have him on standby as well. And let's see. Um, see if there's any other. Oh, you know who might be a good follow? Uh, let me pull his page up. He does a really good job. Let me see. Let me see if I can find his work. Got to go back to July for this. It's gonna take a little while to scoop this up, but I'm gonna find it because I know it's in here somewhere. There we go. Uh, let's see if he's there. I don't know if he's there or not. We'll keep him on standby just in case. All right. I think we got enough. Um, so once practice kicks off, we got enough social media accounts that we're going to be toggling through to be able to keep us abreast of everything that's going on. Um, we pull up one more person. and then we'll get to business here in a second. All right. Let's see. I ain't gonna provide us with nothing. I'm just making sure I'm dotting all my I's, crossing all my T's. Okay, so we will jump from X account to X account to X account to X account to stay current. They're still warming up right now. So don't worry if you just got here, you haven't missed anything. Everything is just getting underway. So I expect, honestly, I expect the defense to look good today. I'll be disappointed if the defense doesn't look good today. Um, the Patriots are a young football team, very, very young football team. Everything's brand new. They're in a very similar position to where we were last year, except Drake May isn't a rookie. They had a and they got a coach that I think is a really good coach, which is what we got last year. We didn't appreciate him at the time, but I think the Patriots have a bit more affinity for Mike Vrabel because he was one of them as a player. But Vrabel was a really good coach in Tennessee. He's going to come in there and turn that program around. I wouldn't be shocked if they're a lot more competitive this year than people think. They went out and spent money in free agency. They're not going to be a pushover. I expect to be very competitive in this practice. And it's going to be good work for us. But I expect us to be better than them. So I'll be very disappointed if we can't go in there and have some success. But again, don't overreact. Last year, this time, we had a joint practice with the Jets. And again, I know we're in a much different space than we were a season ago and a year ago this time. But last year, we had a joint practice with the Jets, and it was disastrous. It was awful. We were dominated. It was the worst. Our field goal kicking situation was disastrous. The defense was horrible. I mean, we got cooked by Aaron Rodgers and company last year, this time. All right. We had no answers for Garrett Wilson last year. I mean, he was clearly by far and away the best player on the field last year in our joint practice. So you don't want to get too carried away with the joint practices, what happens, what doesn't happen. But at the same time, um, you do want to see guys go out and execute. You know, this is what you've been practicing for. This is a different team. You want to see guys go out there and execute. So um, let's hope that that's exactly what it is they do. All right. So if we go to JP Finley's page, he's got them both teams huddling up. Let's go to he said they're giving the let's go have a good practice and don't fight speech, which you know they were going to do, right? So that means, and that was 3 minutes ago. So that means we're about to get started here. And I'm thinking 11 o'clock, right? You know, after all the stretching, everything, you started a specific time so you know when to end practice. I'm thinking we're going 11 to 1, maybe. That's my guess. Could be 12:30. We'll see how long they decide to go. I'm thinking this is going to be about a 2-hour practice. So get as much work as you can in a 2-hour span. So, we'll see what happens. Um, all right. So All right, let's get this thing popping. Um, Somebody said search up Kevin Moore. All right, we'll give Kevin a spin. Is that his X name? So a lot of Kevin Moore. That's a pretty basic name. You got to be more specific than that. All right, let's get to Zach. All right. Zach Selby says we're off and running. First 11 on 11 period for the offense. JD5 was 3 of 3 with 2 completions to Zach Ertz. So we off and we're running at practice. JD's sharp early, which is what you expect. 2 of his 3 completions to start were to Zach Ertz. And let's see where we go from there. See where we go from there. And we just keep cycling through the comments, making sure we don't miss anything. Honestly, here's some of the biggest things that I'm looking for, right? K Moore TV. Guess I could just click on the link, huh? Thank you for that. And I will click on the link that you've provided me with. Let's see. Oh, it won't let me click on the link. Duh, genius. Let's see. I should be able to look him up with that though. That'll probably be him. All right. So yeah, this is a good one too. So let's go ahead and go here for a second. So this Kevin Moore. Shout out to Yoshi, who's on the Kevin Moore is on the Patriots beat. He said that Pop Douglas starts practice by beating Jonathan Jones for a first down. On the other field, Jaden Daniels finds Zach Ertz for a first down in the middle of the field. He then said the Commanders' offense looks like they haven't skipped a beat. All right. Jason Tatum is at practice. Not that we care, but cool that he's out there. So Pop Douglas probably picking up where he left off, cooking Jonathan Jones at practice because they used to be teammates, obviously. So that's an interesting thing there because Pop Douglas is one of their best receivers. So we're not going to act like Pop Douglas is some bum either. But also, he played against Jonathan Jones, so he knows him too. So he probably knows how to get the best of him also. So keep that in mind. But him saying that the Commanders' offense looks like they haven't skipped a beat is a good thing. That means our quarterback is out there getting busy, which is what we expect from him. Honestly speaking, he's a dog. All right, so let's go back to Zach Selby, who says that Michael Gallup just made a catch from Johnson and lowered his shoulder on a Patriots DB. So Michael Gallup, who I told y'all I think is making the roster. I've had people say Michael Gallup ain't making shit. Well, we're gonna see, right? Um, Zach Selby also says B-Rob is fired up today. He had a couple of really nice runs and has been trying to get his teammates hyped up in the huddle. Hey, paging Lionel Willingham for all you B-Rob haters. B-Rob, he ready to get busy on y'all this year, man. B-Rob ready to get busy on y'all this year. So shout out to Zach Selby for keeping us informed on what's going on. We will continue to monitor all of these different social medias. I just looked at Candy's page and she's like, it's so many fans out here. Oh my God. So if you want to see Tatum at practice, not that you care, there's Jason Tatum at practice. All right. So we can confirm that Jason Tatum is at practice. Again, not that most of you care, but I know my girl cares. That's for you. Playoff P, the legendary Playoff P. That's for you, because I know you out there. That's for you. We can't confirm that Jason Tatum is in the house at practice today. Probably there. My guess is probably there to meet Jaden and stuff like that. That's my guess, if I'm being honest. All right. So let's go over to Kevin Moore. He says Drake May with a dart to Mac Hollins over the middle. Very clean pocket for May on that rep. Drake May went deep to Javon Baker, but pass felt incomplete. Jonathan Jones might have gotten away with a PI there. Okay. Kyle Duggar mixing it up with Commander's sideline after a Brian Robinson run. That speaks to what we just heard from our guy, Zach Selby, who said B-Rob was over there, getting hyped, couple really good runs. And he got into it a little bit with Kyler Duggar. So probably lowered his shoulder at the end of a run, finished it physically. Duggar probably took exception to it. I like the energy from B-Rob right now. That's what we need. All right. We're going to keep it pushing. Keep toggling through all of these comments and see if we get to some more intriguing stuff from practice. Man, there's a lot of fans out there. I'm seeing everybody's page, and it's a lot of people out there. My goodness. Patriots definitely allowed their fans to come out. A lot of times you see these joint practices and they don't allow their fans in the building. That is not the case. That is not the case for this joint here. There are fans everywhere. All right. Let's move Kevin up to the front. Kevin seems to be on it. Okay. Nothing else from Kevin. I don't think we got anything else from Zach. Those seem to be the two go-tos right now. Everybody else watching practice, which is what I would be doing if I was out there. I wouldn't be tweeting. I'd be watching practice. I'm not mad at nobody that's out there not tweeting their life away, because if I'm there in person, I'm watching to see what the hell's going on so I can report it. All right. Let's get to Mitch Tisler. All right. Mitch Tisler says that Josh Connolly is having a good day at practice today, working across from Christian Barmore and Harold Landry. He's shown quickness and good recognition getting to free blitzers. So that is a good sign there that our guy, Josh Connolly Jr., who has said, and I believe him, and I also, Cliff Kingsbury said the same thing, that he's getting more comfortable and that he feels like he's adjusted to the right side. Both have said that they feel like he's adjusted to the right side now. It's just about getting the technical aspect down. I think he was thinking a lot earlier, because Lionel Willingham was saying that he was moving slow and, he wasn't really performing at a high level early in camp, which is to be expected. He was making a positional switch from left to right. And he, was switching to, his body was adjusting to the time difference. There was a lot going on for him, and I think he's starting to really settle in, adjusting to the speed of the game, etc. So it's good to see that he's really starting to settle in. I know Lionel is not your favorite, and I get that. He's opinionated. That's what he gets paid to do. He gets paid to give opinions and to fire people up. A wise man once said, y'all may feel a way about Ye, but at least y'all feel something. That is the goal every time. That's how you generate revenue, is you get people to feel a way, whether it's good, bad, ugly, hate, whatever. That's how you move the needle. If people are indifferent, you lose, right? That's what it started to get to with this organization. At one point, we got to a place of apathy where we didn't give a shit. And that's the most dangerous place to be for an organization, is when your fans don't care whether you win or lose. I don't really give a shit. Lionel Willingham is a Stephen A type of aggravator. Those people move the needle, whether you like them or you don't like them. All right. Let's continue on and see if we've gotten any news anywhere else. Haven't seen any updates really fired off by anybody. Maybe they're transitioning from one set of drills and 7-on-7, 11-on-11 to another set where they may be trying to get into a specific, red zone, something like that. They may be transitioning. So there's not a lot going on right now. All right. All right. So let's go over here. Kevin Moore says that Pop Douglas is having a day against the Commanders defense. That's not good. Says rough series from the Commanders offense. Pat's front seven caused a lot of havoc. Again, that's not good. Now, I will say on the offensive line, and I said one of the things I don't want to hear is that the offensive line is struggling. This is not the group that we hope to see taking the field. Again, I don't know who's starting at left guard, but that could be Chris Paul. That's not okay, right? So I'm not shocked if it doesn't go well from that perspective. But because this is a talented Patriots defensive front. Remember, they spent all the money on the defensive tackle from the Eagles. Like, there's some talented guys. They spent money on Harold Landry. Like, they're not trash on their defensive line. They already had guys that were pretty good players already. Keon White was already there. They got guys that are really good football players. So, and they added to that. That doesn't excuse us struggling, though. But every possession isn't going to be a great one. So take it with a grain of salt, but you don't want to hear that. But it's to be expected if there's a chance that Chris Paul could be out there with the ones. That's, you know what I'm saying? Like, it can get ugly quick. So keep that in mind as we continue on. All right, so let's go over to Mitch Tisler. He just had up here Demario Douglas, so that's Pop Douglas, had 2 nice catches and runs in 11-on-11 against Mikey Sainristil. Remember, and I've said this already, and again, it's early, don't trip, but I want to see Mikey in the slot, because Mikey in the slot in college is different than Mikey in the slot in the NFL. And NFL Mikey in the slot early last year was getting cooked. So I need to make sure that Mikey in the slot is not a liability. I'm gonna ride with my guy, because Mikey's a smart, heady football player, but the slot in the NFL is different. So we just got to make sure we're very clear on that. Pop Douglas is a really good receiver, though. I don't want y'all to think that he's some Joe Schmo. I know a lot of y'all don't follow the New England Patriots, but Demario Douglas is a really good wide receiver, just so we're on the same page. Mitch Tisler also says Michael Strand continues to high point the ball well. did have a drop early in practice on an underthrown ball. So that's been the consensus and the theme with these receivers this year in camp, is that they'll make one really good play that makes you go, okay, I see you. And then another play that you expect them to be able to make, they don't. Now, that was an underthrown ball, but still, it's a catchable ball, or it wouldn't have been categorized as a drop, right? So and that's the problem. It's that up and down nature of these receivers. Chris Moore is the same exact way, right? That's what we've been hearing. He'll make a play, then he'll have a drop, right? So we're continuing to see that be a theme with a lot of these guys, the consistency. And that's what happens when you're talking about guys that are at the back end of a roster. That's why they're there. The consistency is lacking, right? So that shouldn't be a surprise to any of you. See if we got any more updates. None there. See if we got any more updates with our guy Chris Moore, or Kevin Moore, excuse me. All right, so let's go over to Kevin Moore. He said Zach Ertz still very good. So that means Ertz is giving them work. Like, I talked about the most underrated player this offseason. I did a video, the most underrated player, and I still think it's Zach Ertz. I don't think he gets enough credit. People are trying to push him out the door. They're upset because Ben Sinnott isn't getting on the field. Ben Sinnott can't get on the field because Zach Ertz is still playing at a damn high level. That's why. Ertz is still routing dudes up, cooking folks at the stem at the top of routes, stemming guys, breaking them off something proper and getting open. That's why Ertz is on the field, and Kevin Moore is like, yo, Ertz is still good, bro. Ertz is still good. I love it. Okay, so I got another name here. Somebody just gave me. Shout out to Vaughn. Let's go to X, and I think we're going to get some more updates here. Shout out to Vaughn once again for the alley on this one. So we got another Patriots beat reporter out here that's putting up some numbers for us. So we're gonna kick over to his page real quick and see what he had to say. All right. So most of his stuff gonna be Patriot related. He's not really gonna be talking about us, unlike Kevin, who's talking about both teams. So he started out by saying Drake May begins the 11s with underneath completions to Pop and Hooper. Austin Hooper, for those of you veteran tight end. Stephon Diggs just arrived at practice. He's warming up off the side. He said, great sequence for Drake May and the Patriots offense. Complete shallow cross to Pop for a big gain. Sidestep off platform to Pop on a crosser. Wide open seam to Henry. So that's the drive where the offense was cooking our defense. Hunter Henry, for those of you, tight end. We had trouble with the tight end up the seam last year. Hopefully that's not an issue with Will Harris on board. Evan also said Drake May is dealing to start practice. I said I didn't want to hear that Drake May was dotting us up. I didn't want to hear that Drake May was dotting us up. A couple completions to Mac Hollins, including a cover 2 hole shot that was on the money. So right now, Drake May is doing the thing that I said I didn't want to hear Drake May doing to us, and that's dotting our ass up. Because all of this shit that we've been hearing about this defense and how good, I've said this. Let's go over to Kevin Moore, and he's confirming what Evan just said. Drake May, liking his new target Mac Hollins duo, have had a solid period. So, again, reason we probably ain't hearing from a lot of our beat reporters is because we ain't doing shit. All right, so let's head over to Zach Selby. He says, 2 things have stood out for me watching the offense. The connection between Daniels and Ertz is a cheat code, which is what we've heard from both Commanders and Patriots beat reporters. We already know that, though. We already know that. They're not telling us something that we don't already know. And he said, Tunzel is really, really, really good. That's great to hear as well, right? I think this man could get paid in September before the season starts. I wouldn't be shocked if he gets an extension. I think they just want to make sure that he is what they thought he was from afar. In the building, they see him and watch him work, and then if he goes out and executes in the preseason, I wouldn't be shocked if they go ahead and extend him in September, like they did Sam Cosmi last year. Just a thought. Zach Selby also says, Kane Madrano was in good position to make tackles on back-to-back plays. The rookie does a good job of sticking with pass catchers in coverage and breaking down to get stops. Again, they are not taking guys to the ground out here. So again, Kane Madrano's biggest flaw in college is he didn't get guys on the ground. Being in position to get guys in the ground is one thing. He was constantly in position to get guys on the ground at UCLA. He just didn't. So I love hearing that he's there. That means the IQ is there. He's seeing it. See ball, go get it. Can he get him on the ground? That's a whole nother discussion. So that's good to hear, but it also doesn't make me warm and fuzzy because I don't know if he can get guys on the ground or not at the NFL level just yet. All right, let's go over to Kevin Moore, who says, after the session, Jaden Daniels goes right up to Jason Tatum to say, what's up? Like I said, Tatum knew what he was doing. He knew who was there. It's all about 5. Come on now. I mean, and he's going to go probably dap up Drake May and stuff. That's a dude that's big in the city where he plays ball at. So obviously that's a big thing. But 5 know what's up. And he know 5, he's a hooper. He loves basketball. So of course he was going to go say what's up to Tatum. Tatum knew what he was doing, though. He showed up there knowing damn well Jaden was there and like, let me go holler at the kid for sure. Let's keep going through and seeing if we got anything else. All right. All right. I see another name. Let's go get it. Let's go get it. All right. So this is another name, another Patriots beat reporter. Let's move him up the food chain. Let's throw him in. Ben Vollen writes, Jaden Daniels, absolutely surgical in 11 on 11. Never misses a read. I love to hear it. And that's what I expect from Jaden in year 2, is that we're hearing he getting the ball out quicker. He's reading the field. He's seeing what's going on. He's understanding where the ball needs to go, and he's getting rid of it faster. And we heard this from Cliff Kingsbury at the press conference just the other day when he said Jaden is taking advantage of every rep and treating it like it's a game rep in practice. And that's a sign of a guy that gets it. He's carrying out fakes better. He's getting rid of the football. When it's not there, he's throwing it away. He's not taking sacks. He's not putting the offense behind the sticks. He knows where to go with the football. His attention to detail is higher than it's ever been. This is why the sophomore slump shit that we've heard, which is why they need to hurry up and get Terry's ass back in there, because that's the only thing that can stop him, is not having all of his weapons at his disposal. This whole sophomore slump shit is for the birds. I ain't buying it, bro. Our guy's going to cook this season. Our guy's going to cook this season. Let's see. All right. So as we wait for some more updates, just to keep you informed, so far on both sides, Pop Douglas having a day, Mac Holland having a day for the Patriots, Drake May looking sharp, Patriots defensive line on one possession wrecked shop. If you're a Commanders fan, on the other end, Zach Ertz looking good, Jaden Daniels looking good, defense not so good right now. Brian Robinson playing with some intensity early, but it's been all offense for the Commanders. Defense has struggled to start the joint practice. So, and again, nothing to be concerned about. Like one of the plays, Drake May made a great throw to Mac Holland in the honey hole in cover 2. I imagine that we've been playing a lot of man coverage, as DQ talked about. And like I imagine they're gonna, try to be somewhat vanilla. Eventually, I expect them to just switch it up, play some man coverage and things of that nature. But they haven't been playing a lot of zone in practice. So, or I shouldn't say they haven't been, but the zone coverage might not be the thing we may be good at. We might be more of a man team, which is what we've heard Joe Witt Jr. say he wants to be anyway. So, all right. So those of you asking about Stephon Diggs, he's not going to practice today. Not going to play in the preseason game. Remember, this man's coming off of an ACL tear. He healed a lot faster than any of us thought he would, but they're not going to rush him back. He's too vital to what they want to do this season. So just keep that in mind. I think they're transitioning from one, drill to the next, one session. This is for you, Playoff P, the legendary Playoff P. Evan Lazar says that Celtics star Jason Tatum is here and he's not wearing a boot of any kind. I showed you the picture of him and he didn't have a boot on, so he's not reporting anything that we didn't already know. But just so you know, but I already showed you a picture of him walking onto the field, so you already know he's not wearing a walking boot, which is a good thing, obviously. How many months are we removed from his surgery? He got injured in the second round of the playoffs against the Knicks. That had to be in May, right? We weren't in June yet, so probably May. So what? May is the 5th month. We're in August, so probably 3 months, roughly, maybe a little bit under 3 months removed from his surgery. All right. And this is the reason why I told y'all I was hoping that we would go in there and execute on offense. Didn't really know what to expect from the defense. I told y'all the Patriots lost one of their corners to an ACL, and then they weren't their best corner. The guy that we should have drafted, Gonzo, isn't practicing today. So I want us to go out there and look surgical and carve them up. And the only thing that could stop, which is why I never mentioned Jaden in any of this. I mentioned the receivers and the O-line. That's the only thing that can stop us on offense, is if the receivers aren't doing their thing and the offensive line isn't giving Jaden the time. The one possession that they didn't have that didn't go well was what? The offensive line got brutalized by the Patriots D-line. That's the only thing that can stop Jaden at this point. That's the only thing that can stop Jaden at this point. So, somebody said Taylor Kyle, his ex, is really good. If he's got information, we there. Really don't give a damn what team they cover. If he's got information, let's see. It's a lot of Tyler Kyles or Kyle Tyler's. What is it? Tyler Kyle. Let's try that again. Taylor Kyle, excuse me. It's a lot of Taylor Kyles. But only one with an S. Okay, yeah. This is another good one here. Let's get into this one. Let's move him up the line a little bit. Now these are all old, right? But we'll go back and read his to see what any perspective that we can get is a good one. So this is Taylor Kyles. All right. Let's go all the way back. He got a lot of stuff. So let's he giving us play-by-plays. All right, let's go all the way back. So Drake May starts an early team drill with a crosser to Demario Douglas, who put a nasty juke on a defender. Commanders get immediate penetration off left side on an outside zone run from Patriots. That's what you want to hear against their run game. Dre May thinks about scrambling, but keeps his eyes downfield, finds Austin Hooper in a soft zone versus a soft spot versus zone. Drake May's series ends with a scramble after quick pressure. So you like to hear that the line got pressure. Then says Joshua Dobbs starts things off with a shallow cross of his own to Efton Chisholm. Dobbs' second pass goes to Jalen Polk on a short out. Dobbs ends with the check down to Land Larson, followed by a completion to Javon Baker on a sit route. Travion Henderson begins with the starters the next drive with a chunk gain after getting outside on the toss. That was one of our Achilles heels last year. Outside runs, anything to the perimeter, we struggled. Drake May's first pass on this drive looked like a miscommunication, threw it downfield to no one in particular. Drake May throws a bit high to Mac Hollins on a dig, but the receiver did a nice job going up for the pass. Javon Baker should have drawn a DPI on a goal ball from Josh Dobbs, but the refs kept the flag in their pocket. That's the one that we heard earlier from Kevin, where he said it probably should have been a Jonathan Jones PI. Flags. First flag goes against the Patriots for a hold on a draw to the right side. So the defensive line doing a good job drawing a holding penalty. Afton Chisholm smokes his defender on the whip route, then made himself available for Josh Dobbs on the scramble completion. So that's when the second team was in on the field at that point. Demario Douglas takes another shallow crosser for a big gain. Wide receiver adjusted to the pass, slightly thrown behind him, and instantly hit yak mode. So, like I said, Pop Douglas, he liked that. He liked that. Second catch in a row, this time on a downfield crosser off play action fake. So I don't like to hear that. That's play action fake, deep over route. That means either we were in man and somebody got smoked, or we were in zone and we weren't aware. Either way, I don't like to hear that. Drake May finds wide open Hunter Henry down the seam. That was something that hurt us on counter hot. So he probably audible to that or saw a blitz and went to him, and he was one of the reads that he could go hot to. Either way, we struggled with the seam ball last year. Travion Henderson splits out wide, catches a hitch along the sidelines from Dobbs. Afton Chisholm with a contested catch. So those are more second team guys conversations. Demario Douglas, so Pop Douglas gets wide open on a downfield breaker, but drops the pass that was slightly out in front of him. So he was open again. Drake May appeared to look off coverage before hitting a open Austin Hooper. We heard about that when Mike Hollins crept behind coverage down the sideline. That's the honey hole shot in cover 2. Garrett Bradbury at center with the backups following series. Okay, so that's more Patriots related. G. Scott with a couple catches from Dobbs. Drake May was red hot during that early team period. Ball placement could have been better at times, but he was composed and consistently found the open man. Let's see. This is another dude. We might have to go to him. Matt Doloff. He says, couple moments for Patriots defense against Jaden Daniels' offense early. Christian Baltimore shoved aside Tyler Biotish for inside pressure, and Jalen Daniels rolls out and is off target. Kyle Duggar and Ja'Cory Brooks had to be separated after engaging on the play. So a little brouhaha, nothing much. Doloff, we got to pull this dude up too. We got to pull up. That's enough. I've seen enough. He got a little something. I'm not discriminatory. If you got some information, I want it. So let's pull him up. His name is Matt Doloff. Let's get him up here. And let's move him up the food chain. All right. All right, let's go back to where we were. Let's finish, and then we can go to another one. Christian Barmore just tossed Nick Allegretti in 1v1. This is why Allegretti needs to go back to the bench. But I love Nick Allegretti, don't get me wrong. And I love that he's a part of the depth on this roster. Let's go over to Matt Doloff, and then we'll go back to some Commanders people and see if we got something. I saw that our guy Zach just posted something, so we'll go over to him here in a bit. He said that Patriots front getting through versus Daniels, especially inside. Tonga, Harold Landry got some pressures along, also holding up well against stretch runs. The only thing, the safeties can't cover Zach Ertz, but not sure how many of those throws are getting out in a real game. So, again, there could have been pressure. Jaden might have had extra time because they can't hit him. So, again, the offensive line doesn't sound like it's doing a great job right now, which is except for Laramie Tunsil. Let me make sure I preface my comments by saying that he's doing a really good job. Zach Selby says, watching Tunsil in Pass Pro is such a work of art. He just put Keon White into the ground with little effort. This is why we traded for this man. Zelby also says, nice throw and catch from Daniels to Ja'Cory Brooks in 7-on-7 drills. Brooks had the one-handed grab in the end zone. So touchdown for Ja'Cory Brooks. This is an opportunity for guys to step up. It's an opportunity for guys to step up. I talk about some of the rookies getting a chance. This is what we're talking about. Here's your chance to do something. He's going to play a lot on Friday, too, is Ja'Cory Brooks. All right. Christian Barmore just destroyed. We're over to Kevin Moore's page now. He said, we just read this one on someone else's page. Christian Barmore just destroyed Nick Allegretti in 1v1s. Deebo Samuel just made a nice contested catch for a touchdown over Marcus Jones in a 7-on-7 red zone period. So good to hear Deebo getting into the fray, making some things happen. Let's see. All right, nothing there. See what Tyler Kyles has to say. All right, so go over to Tyler Kyles, who writes, raw stats from the Patriots O-line in the pass rush 1v1s. Will Campbell won one, lost none, tied one. Jarrett Wilson won both of his. Garrett Bradbury lost both of his. Mike Onwenu won one, lost one, and DeMontre Jacobs won one, lost one. So those are their starters. So basically the Commanders, according to Tyler Kyles, went, see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 reps. And the Commanders basically went 4. So they basically went 4, 5, and 1, according to Tyler. 4, 5, and 1. Yeah. Not bad. Not bad in the one-on-ones for the Commanders group. Patriots fan says DeMontre Jacobs was the worst tackler in the NFL last year. Okay. So for him to win one is a good thing then. Probably was going up against Dietrich Wise or Cleveland Farrell or someone. All right. Let's keep it pushing. See if we got anything else. All right, nothing there. All right, nothing there. Nothing there. All right. Nothing there. Nothing there. All right. I think we might get something here. Nope, nothing there. All right, let's see if we got something here, and then we'll go back to the top where most of the information has been. Because really, the Patriots ones are a lot better than ours. Our guys are not giving us really anything. Again, I'm not mad at them for that. They're watching practice instead of getting on their phones and tweeting, right? So, not mad at that at all. All right. Let's see if we got anything else. They might be at a period now where they're switching over to something else. Because as you can see, we were just in red zone, 7-on-7. So we might be going through another period where they're changing out what they're doing. It could get into some short yardage or whatever. You never know. That sort of thing. So no updates as of right now. See what Tyler Kyles is talking about. Okay, so yeah, nothing from him. And if he ain't got nothing, because he's been the one that's been on it the best right now, that means they probably transitioning over to a new period to get some more work in. So let's recap some more. Let's recap. Touchdown for Ja'Cory Brooks in 7-on-7. Touchdown, Deebo Samuel in 7-on-7. Laramie Tunzel has been phenomenal. Nick Allegretti got put on his ass in a one-on-one drill. Tyler Biotish. Our interior right now has not been great. Tyler Biotish got beat by Christian Barmore. Oh, yeah. Christian Barmore, really good. That Patriots defensive front has a chance to be really good. Between Keon White, Christian Barmore, who are Pat's holdovers from last year. Tonga's really good, especially against the run. And then you add in guys like Harold Landry and the defensive tackle from the Eagles. They got a chance to be really good. Like, don't sleep, right? So, but it's good to hear the offense is getting off. Still a little concerned about the defense. They're going to have to prove it to me. Last year, I went in thinking the defense was going to be really good, and it wasn't. So until they prove to me that they're actually good, I'm not giving them the benefit of the doubt. They got to prove it to me. And Drake May getting off on them. And we can have excuses for the offense because their guys are out. There are guys that are out on offense. There are no guys on defense out for the defense. There are no guys out. We got all our players that are going to be key contributors out there right now. So there's no excuse. So, and again, they haven't been getting cooked the entire practice. Just so we're clear. They were, as Taylor Kyles talked about, there have been plays where Drake May was under duress and had to leave the pocket and throw the football away. Things of that nature. Milton Williams. That's the name I was thinking of from the Eagles. Andrew Callahan said, Christian Barmore and Milton Williams, each with monstrous wins in one-on-one pass rush versus Commanders O-line. But the star was Chris Tonga, a late-round journeyman who's been outstanding all camp. He went 2-0 in his. So our offensive line isn't holding up the best in one-on-one drills right now. Not surprising. We don't have necessarily all of our best out there performing in these one-on-one drills. There's no Sam Cosmi. There's no Brandon Coleman. So, I mean, it's not a shock to me that the interior of our line is getting dominated by their defensive tackles. Our interior is compromised right now, for sure. So that's not a surprise to me. Andrew Callahan might have some juice for us. Let's go ahead and add him to the mix. Again, he's a Patriots guy, so all right. Let's add Doug Keed to the list. He might be another Patriots guy. Damn, y'all got a lot of dudes. Yeah, damn, it's a lot of Patriots dudes. All right, so let's move him up the list a little bit. Let's go back through and see if we got something new. Because 11 on 11s, I see now that 11 on 11s has started now. Another set of 11 on 11s has kicked off. So we're going to go to some of those comments here in a second. All right, so let's go over to Kevin Moore, who writes, Drake made a Kayshon Boutte back shoulder for the touchdown. Marshawn Lattimore in coverage. So Laddie was in good coverage, but better throw, better catch by Kayshon Boutte for the touchdown. Travion Henderson just ran by Bobby Wagner on a wheel route. May dropped it in his hands, but Travion dropped it. So, look, that's not what we want Bobby Wagner. This is why you need Jordan McGee, right? This is why you drafted Kane Madrano, because Bobby can't run like that no more. You don't want Bobby on Travion Henderson on a wheel route up the sideline. That's bad for business, right? Luckily, it was a drop. Patriots front seven has had a pretty good day defending the run from what I've seen. Again, our best unit of offensive linemen are not there, so I expect them to struggle a little bit. I didn't want them to, but I was hoping, I had my fingers crossed that Brandon Coleman was going to get out there. I knew he wasn't. And once he wasn't out there, the whole line could be in flux. I don't know if Andrew Wiley's starting at left guard, and then that means Josh Colony Jr. is at right tackle. If Wiley's at right tackle and you got Chris Paul at left guard, it could get nasty. It could really get nasty out there, right? Drake made to Hunter Henry, who sat in zone for the touchdown. So once again, defense doesn't sound like they're having a very good day, man. Doesn't sound like they're having a very good day at all. So that's 2 touchdowns if you're keeping track at home. 1 to Kayshon Boutte on the back shoulder on Marshawn Lattimore. The other to Hunter Henry in zone coverage. Let's go over to Taylor Kyles, who writes, so I'm hearing that Mac Hollins is starting to drop the football. He's had 2 drops after starting the day off really good. Kayshon Boutte back shoulder fade. We just talked about that. Marshawn Lattimore was all over the receiver, but it was the perfect pitch and impressive catch. See, that's all I care about. Marshawn was right there. I know the result isn't what we want, but he was right there. And I've already said this. You can't defense the perfect pass. Like, that's a thing. That's a real thing. Travion Henderson gets wide open for a touchdown on a wheel route, but he drops it. We talked about that already. Drake made a Hunter Henry, starting off the play by motioning to a stack behind Austin Hooper. Then Hooper followed it up with an open touchdown over the middle from Joshua Dobbs. Then Antonio Gibson might have been tackled immediately in a real game, but he had a huge lane to the end zone on the screen. Yeah, I don't, again, they're not bringing guys to the ground, so I won't count that one. But the pass game for the Patriots seems to be working exceptionally well, no matter who's in the game, whether it's Josh Dobbs or Drake May, which, if you're a Commanders fan, you do not want to hear. Continuing on, let's see. All right, so this one from Matt Doloff. He says, Barmore won both of his reps, basically posterized guard Nick Allegretti, his best day of camp so far. Tonga won both of his reps, which we heard about. Isaiah Itten, 3 for 3 versus backups. Keon White lost both reps and looked to be flagged on the second one. So not the best for him, which is, again, our tackles aren't the issue. And I expect Keon White to get his ass whooped if he's going up against our tackles. It's our interior that's getting their ass whooped, which is not a surprise. We got some action over here from Evan Lazar, who says that Will Campbell faced old friend Dietrich Wise 3 times in 1v1s. I'd say it was pretty even. Campbell anchors against long arm, draw on Wise inside overarm, and then Wise wins on a push-pull move. So Dietrich Wise back against his old mates. And then May to Boutte on back-to-back shoulder fades from the high red zone for 6. And we've talked about that already as well. See if we got anything from Zach. Nothing from Zach. All right, so let's head over to JP Finley. And this is just confirming what we've already talked about. I get the Pats aren't the 85 Bears, but the Commanders' O-line has looked terrific. Wiley and Connolly playing well, Tunzel dominant. So as a collective up front, when they're in team drills, they've played well. So my guess is Wiley kicked into guard, Connolly was at tackle, Tunzel, we know what he is. That's a good sign. Now, if Wiley stayed at right tackle and he's talking about Connolly when he was with the second team, that's good too. As long as he's playing well, he can't control who's in front of him. All he can do is control how the rep goes. And if he's playing and taking care of business, that's all I care about. That's all I want to hear. So Wiley probably kicked inside the guard is what I would guess. That's my guess. Again, I can't confirm that. I can't confirm that, but that'd be my guess. Right. All right. See if all right. Our beat reporters trash. They trash. They talk about everything but the goddamn action on the field. I don't give a shit that John Bon Jovi's at the goddamn practice. Patriots dudes running circles around our guys in terms of coverage. Which, I understand that you watch a practice. All right, Zach Selby says things are getting real chippy on the defensive side. Patriots and Commanders had to be broken up twice now. Again, as long as there are no fights, no fisticuffs, it's not uncommon. The first time that you see somebody different, motions run high, that's totally justifiable and understandable. I don't want to see no hands being thrown. Let's keep it as clean as we can. Let's keep it as clean as we can. All right. Let's go over to Kevin Moore. He writes, Pat's offense having a good red zone period. Josh Dobbs comes in, connects with Antonio. That one didn't count. So, but Drake made a Mac Hollins for the touchdown. Play action from May found Mac in the back corner on an out route. Again, too many touchdowns, not enough pass breakups, we ain't heard of one interception. I said this the other day because Dan Quinn said one of the things that's bothered him about the defense still is that we're not creating turnovers. We ain't created a single turnover today. Not one. I don't think either team has, as far as I'm aware of. We haven't seen that on anybody's account, that a pick has been thrown or somebody's put the ball on the ground or anything. But that's a problem because we don't generate turnovers. And Drake May is having too much success here. Let's go over to Taylor Kyles, who writes, May keeps his eyes downfield while stepping up, then takes advantage of a wide open pocket for a rushing touchdown. Okay. Again, you can't hit the quarterback, but he might have been able to score off of that anyway. We talked about the Mac Hollins touchdown. That was off of a Drake May bootleg. And then he says, just had a huge pile up after Drake May throw and Mike Vrabel jumped in. Sounds like Kayshon Boutte and Marshawn Lattimore got into it before everyone else swarmed. Are you surprised that it was Marshawn Lattimore behind all of this? The same guy that ripped A.J. Brown's helmet off in the NFC Championship game? Like, are you shocked? I'm not. You shouldn't be either. I mean, somebody said check Lake Lewis. I'm on it. Aye, because I'm about to get rid of most of these Commander dudes because they ain't posting a damn thing. And which is, again, can't state this enough, which is fine. But I mean, Lake ain't got really much up here either. He had one. Hold on. Yeah, Lake ain't got much up here either. He got two things up here though. Well, he got one thing up here. He says, I have to let DC know that Laramie Tunsil is up here joint practice manhandling folks. He's a stone wall. The youngster Josh Connolly Jr. is having a day as well. So that's similar to what JP Finley said. I'll just keep Lake around, but he ain't really got much on his page. That's the only thing he's put out, which is fine. Let's see if Mitch Tisler has something. We ain't checked on him in a while. And normally if it's offensive line related, Mitch is all over it. So let's see what Mitch Tisler has to say, if anything. Nope. Mitch went dark on us, which probably is uniform across the board for most of the Commanders beat reporters. John Keim said bench is clear on the Washington defensive side at the end of a pass play. Again, that's the Marshawn Lattimore play. Second skirmish in a few minutes, broken up quickly. Pat's tight end G. Scott was upset, had to be held back. So that's an update on that particular brouhaha and scrum. But yeah, our beat reporters want to take pictures of Jason Tatum and talk about John Bon Jovi at practice and shit that we don't care about. That's what our beat reporters up to. All right. All right. I think we transitioning from period to period right now because everybody's accounts have seemed to gone dark for a second here. We have a development. This from Ben Vollen says Diggs is now participating in team drills, so scratch all of that. Initially, it was thought that Diggs would not be practicing today, but he arrives late to Patriots practice, does conditioning with the trainer during 11-on-11 drills. Would bet Vrabel gave him the day off to avoid any setbacks from his knee recovery, and then Ben Vollen is now saying Diggs is out there now. So, oh shit, never mind. As if we needed more problems, but we need to work, damn it. I begged for this. I want work. I want these guys to get, if they're going to get their asses whooped, get your ass whooped. I want that. I don't want these dudes having easy routes. Clearly, they can't handle Matt Hollins right now and Pop Douglas and shit like that. So I imagine it could get really ugly against the Bengals in the second preseason game. All right, so let's go over to Taylor Kyles, who writes, Javon Baker slant touchdown from Josh Dobbs after nearly having a fade intercepted. That's the first time we've heard that of any quarterback, both teams, of nearly having a pass picked off. It wasn't picked off. It was nearly picked off. So, yeah. Even the ones that have a chance to be picked off aren't getting picked off. So this from Andrew Callahan. Mike Vrabel pulled out of the bottom of a huge pile of players, and now he's bleeding from his right cheek. Vrabel jumped in after Travion Henderson and a Washington defender went to the ground in blitz pickup, and a scrum ensued. Will Campbell jumped in. Lord have mercy. Hey, y'all leave Coach out of this, man. But you know, Vrabel looked like he could still lace him up straight up. So not shocked that he decided to jump in there and get busy and try to, you know, keep things from escalating. That's crazy to hear a coach jumping in the mix, though. That's wild. Everybody talking about that now on all of these pages. Everybody talking about Vrabel bleeding, the pile up. All right. Yeah, everybody on the Washington beat. All the Patriots beat writers out here posting about practice. All the damn Washington beat writers got John Bon Jovi talking to Sam Hartman. I don't give a shit about that. I don't give a damn about John Bon Jovi talking to Sam Hartman. Give two shits about that. But I think we on a little break here. You know, switching over. just by looking at all the pages right now. No real new information. So that would be my guess. And maybe the two teams might have I don't think they had to get like separated to the point where the two teams have to go to their sidelines and their coaches have to address them or anything. I don't think that's the case. Let's see. So this is from Zach Cox. This is from earlier. Again, if you're out there and you haven't already done so, hit the like button, please. Really appreciate you. Helps this channel grow exponentially. Doesn't cost you a thing to hit the like button. Over 1,100 of you out there, only 222 likes. We can do so much better than that. If you appreciate the content, hit the like button. He said Drake May went 9 of 12 during the first round of 11 on 11s. And then Josh Dobbs went 13 of 15. And he says lots of separation by Pats pass catchers versus Washington DBs. So if we doing the math at home, if you're doing the math at 22 of 27, those two went in 11 on 11 versus our DBs. 22 of 27. I'm not saying. I'm just saying. All right. 22 of 27. So just so we on the same page. 22 of 27. And he said that the fight with Travion Henderson, he thinks it started with Von Miller. He's not sure. He don't know the jersey numbers, but he thinks Von Miller was the one that took him to the ground. So we know that Travion Henderson was a blitz pickup magnet in college. One of the best that I've ever seen coming into college to do it. So, coming into the NFL from college to do it. So I'm not shocked that he probably blocked the shit out of somebody and they got upset about it. I'm not shocked. Because that's what he did well. One of the things he did really well coming into the league. I'm shocked he had a drop out of the backfield. Because that's something else he did really well at Ohio State, catch the football out of the backfield. But I digress. So yeah, we haven't had any updates really anywhere in about 10 minutes or so. So I'm thinking we getting a little break here in the action. Let's see. Yeah, we ain't got nothing because even the people that's been giving us like play-by-play, blow-by-blow analysis ain't even had nothing on their page in the last 10 minutes or so. So what we'll do is we'll recap a little bit of what has taken place. So let's just go over to Zach. Keep it here. Yeah, we'll just keep it here, and then let's talk about what has happened so far. So, for the Commanders, if you're a Commanders fan, here's the things you like: Jaden Daniels, sharp. Zach Ertz continues to be Zach Ertz. Laramie Tunzel and the offensive line, the first team offensive line as a whole, have actually did really well. Stands for one possession where the interior had some struggles. But for the most part, the pass pro has been good. Daniels has had time, and he's done what he's needed to do. Touchdowns to Ja'Cory Brooks. Touchdown to Deebo Samuel. So we've seen the offense have some success. Offensive line looked good. Laramie Tunsil has been a brick wall, absolutely destroying Patriot defenders. That's what we want to hear. So from an offensive standpoint, first team offense seems to be doing well. Problem right now is the defense. As I just mentioned to you, the first wave of 11 on 11s featuring Drake May and backup quarterback Joshua Dobbs. May went 9 of 12. Dobbs went, I think, 11 of 13 for a total of, I think it was 22. So it was 13 of 15 for Dobbs, 9 of 12 for May, for a total of 22 of 27. Multiple touchdowns were thrown. There was a dropped touchdown by Travion Henderson with Bobby Wagner in coverage on a wheel route up the sideline, which we never want to see. Hunter Henry was giving us work at the tight end position. Austin Hooper sprinkled in a little bit of work. Pop Douglas was really good. Mac Hollins was giving us work. Kayshawn Booty had a couple of touchdown catches. Even though the coverage with Marshawn Lattimore on one of them on the back shoulder fade was really good. So again, I say all of that to say this. Still, lots and lots of work to be done defensively. But at the same time, I am very happy with the work that's being put in. This is all this is all being done with the end goal of this defense getting to a point where you see what guys are good at, what they're not good at. If you're going to make mistakes, this is the time. Like DQ said at his press conference before this practice, they're going to get a lot of good film out of this. So they can go back and say, hey, this is what we have to tighten up. We're playing zone. You got to do a better job at the release of getting more of that guy, not just letting him go up the sideline so you can get that honey hole shot in cover two. You get more of Mac Hollins off the line. Now the safety is able to rotate over there. He can't squeeze that football in there. Like little things like that, right? Hey, this guy's running through your zone. You gotta pick him up, right? You gotta match him there. There's no threat to your zone. You see a guy running, go get some, right? Like these are things that you can clean up. So I'm not at all disappointed with the offensive performance. I am somewhat disappointed in the defensive performance to this point, but as to be expected, and this is why I was a little leery of it, our receivers haven't been shit this camp because the two of the better receivers haven't been practicing. So our corners were looking like all world. This is a wake-up call right here. This is the wake-up call that I was hoping we weren't going to get, but we're getting it, which is cool. We got to be able to set reasonable expectations. I'm still high on this cornerback room. I still think they're going to be really good, and I still think they got a chance to be the best in the conference, the best in the division, and one of the best in the league. I'm not backing off of that because I think you're going to see a totally different, scheme. Like they're not scheming up for the Patriots. You know what I'm saying? And I think you're going to see them be a lot more aggressive in man coverage when the bullets are real, right? Because again, you're not being super physical with these receivers. You're not tackling anybody. You're not putting anybody down on the ground. So there's nuance to all of this. I don't want to say this is glorified 7-on-7, but you're not really hitting dudes. Ain't nobody out here trying to take nobody's head off. So the threat of violence really isn't there. So you got to – these joint practices really are designed for the offenses to be successful. And if your offense isn't successful, you should feel some type of way. So I'll just make sure I mention that. These joint practices are really set up for the offense to succeed. with there being really no with them being no real contact. Guys aren't being taken to the ground. All right, we got action. We're back. Taylor Kyles says that Drake May started out with completions to Hunter Henry and Kayshon Boutte to start a drive that began at the Commanders' 25-yard line. May's first incompletion of the period is a fade to Stephon Diggs, who appeared to turn a tick late. Drake May targets a wide-open Pop Douglas on a slant for what would have been an easy touchdown, but the ball is tipped at the line and intercepted by Mike Sainristil. Finally! So it would have been a touchdown if the ball... I don't give a shit how the interception takes place. Just get your hand on the ball. Finally! This is why I love Mike Sainristil, because he's always around the damn ball. Always. So we finally got us one. Hell yeah. Celebrate. We finally got us one. Took us long enough, but we got us one. All right. We on the board. Hell yeah, defense. Hell yeah. Zach Selby is confirming the pick. He says, nice showing by the defense during 2-minute situation drills. Defense kept Drake May and his team out of the end zone and came up with a pick from Sainristil. So we found out how it happened on a slant that would have been a touchdown, but it got deflected at the line of scrimmage, and then Mike Sainristil, Johnny on the spot for the pick. So, hey, we on the board, man. That's all I care about. You can put us on the board. Yes. Evan Lazar says, the first blemish for Drake May as a pass intended for Pop Douglas is tipped in the air, intercepted. Looked like the robber hold defender got in the passing lane. So that's good defense. Harold Landry's been active today. Seen him in Jaden Daniels' face a few times. He's a good football player. So not too upset about that. Not too upset about that at all. All right. Shit, I might as well just get rid of all of the Commanders beat reporters and just... So Bobby Wagner, this is from John Keim. Bobby Wagner was the one that tipped the ball. So Bobby giveth, Bobby taketh away. Got beat down the sideline by Travion Henderson on what would have been a touchdown had he caught it. But then Bobby shows his wherewithal and his vet savvy, gets in the passing lane, tips the football, picked off by Mikey Sainristil. That's good defense. That's good team ball. That's what you like to see. So good to see the defense getting active. I just complained about the lack of turnovers, and then voila, we get one. All right, so the Commanders' offense now on the field after the interception, and we should be getting some updates as to how that went. Their first-team offense in 11-on-11 should be on the field, and let's hope that this ends in a touchdown. We'll see if it does or it doesn't. All right, so we got action. Kevin Moore says, after a Bobby Wagner deflection, Mike Sainristil dives for the interception. So it was a diving interception to add to it. Nice. Kevin Moore says, fourth down, got to have it in the red zone. Jaden Daniels, jump ball to Ja'Cory Brooks, broken up by Alex Austin. Commanders' offense didn't look good there. So our offense did not get it in the end zone. Jump ball to Ja'Cory Brooks. Again, if we're throwing jump balls on fourth down to Ja'Cory Brooks, we have a problem. I'm not shocked. When you don't have your first and third best receiver and you're sending guys like Ja'Cory Brooks out there, he's got a touchdown catch today. I don't want to shit on the young man, but it is what it is, right? Josh Dobbs dropping a touchdown in the bucket to Mac Hollins. First play of the series, Mac Hollins is having a day. Despite his 2 drops, Mac Hollins has made a ton of plays. So that's where we are right now. So the Commanders did not score on their possession. Patriots' second team offense came on the field and they did score. Neither first team offense scored. Second team Patriots offense scored. Let's see if the second team Commanders offense can get into the end zone. Let's see. Let's go over to Taylor Kyles, who writes, Baltimore just got a snap at right outside linebacker. Okay, interesting. He says, Alex Austin's been targeted twice on fade routes during this period, was in the receiver's grill on uncatchable passes, then deflected the second attempt. So the first one wasn't catchable. The last one was deflected, which was the fourth down one we heard to Ja'Cory Brooks. Mac Hollins does a nice job of keeping his defender at bay on a slot fade, and that's the touchdown we heard about. Then Alex Barth writes, good red zone sequence of the Patriots defense. Plenty of pressure on Jaden Daniels. Would be a sack from Christian Barmore, forcing multiple throwaways. So that's not good for the offensive line that has actually had a pretty good day. But again, the interior, which Barmore is an interior offensive lineman, even though we heard that he was getting reps at right outside linebacker, he's an interior offensive lineman. And any struggles that you hear with guys like him are usually coming from the interior of the offensive line. Josh Dobbs. So this one is from Zach Cox. Josh Dobbs is also having a hell of a practice. He's up to 18 for 22 and 11 on 11s. Just hit Mac Hollins for a tight window touchdown on the right sideline. So we've only forced 4 incompletions for him, which is not good for those of you keeping score at home. All right. Let's see. So Evan Lazar gives us a little bit more in-depth coverage on that possession by the offense. Patriots defense brings a simulated pressure to rush Daniels into a goal ball heave that falls incomplete. Nice fourth down stop by the Pats defense. So they came with a little sim pressure, and it got to him, and he had to get rid of it. That's why it was a sort of a jump ball situation for Ja'Cory Brooks, which let's see what Auntie Donna talking about. She ain't talking about nothing. She ain't talking about nothing. All right. Let's see. Probably got to go back to the top to hit some of these Patriot the Patriot beat writers. We'll get back to Zach Selby, and then back to these Patriot beat writers. All right, bet. Let's get it. See if we got anything. So Zach Selby says, and Josh Johnson ends practice with a touchdown pass in the back of the end zone to Jacoby Jones. So we might be done at this joint practice. Let's see if I can get confirmation on that. Yep, that's it. Practice is done. And so, okay, practice is done. So let's just give a quick recap of what we saw, or not what we saw, what we've heard. And obviously we'll get more in depth from people that were actually there. a little bit later on, and they'll give us a better sense of what transpired. But this is what I've gathered from, the updates that we've been given and that what we've talked about this entire time. This is what basically took place. The offensive line was good today. It wasn't great. They had their moments where they were absolutely dominant. Jaden had time. He was able to deliver the football. There were times where the interior, it sounds like the tackles played well today. And the interior of the offensive line, and give the Patriots credit, they have a really good interior. There were times where the interior of the offensive line struggled, which is to be expected with no Brandon Coleman, no Sam Cosmi. You were already with two backups already in. And so you already understood what the situation is going to be. No excuses for Nick Allegretti. That was a starter last year. And Tyler Biadasz is a starter. No excuses. But when Jaden had time, he delivered the football, did what he needed to do. And Laramie Tunsil was absolutely dominant today. That's what you want to hear. Connerly played well. Wiley even played well. So these are all good signs for a team looking to build an offensive line and get the kind of cohesion you need. It's tough when guys are in and out of the lineup, which is what we have right now. But to hear that the tackles performed well is a good sign. Hopefully Brandon Coleman gets back sooner rather than later so we can start to see what this thing actually looks like. But offensively, solid day. But again, I have to talk about the receiver position because I don't think the receivers won today. Like the Patriots receivers won a ton today, right? 18 of 22 for Josh Dobbs today against the second team defense of the Commanders. Like Drake May was picked off on his last possession, so that's a good thing. But defensively, it was a tough day for the Commanders, but our receivers are struggling to separate. And again, no Noah Brown, no Terry McLaurin. That's to be expected. But make no mistake about it. It's not like the Patriots had their, best corner out there. It's not like they had their best either. So you would have liked to have seen the offense be a little bit sharper, but I thought it was solid all overall for the offense. Defense is what has the biggest concern right now. They didn't get the job done today. And there were, pressures from guys here and there where Drake May was flushed out of the pocket. But all in all, May had a pretty good day. Sands for the interception. Good job by Bobby Wagner getting his hand on the ball. Great diving interception by Mike Sainristil. But Drake May had a good day. Tossed a bunch of touchdowns. Josh Dobbs ate the second team up. Tossed a bunch of touchdowns. Ball barely hit the ground for the Patriots quarterbacks. Sounds like the run game, they contained it pretty good, which we know we should be able to do this year. But I did hear one big run off the left side on a toss that we talked about. Outside of that, they had a screen to Antonio Gibson that probably would have been bottled up in a regular game. So defensively, the run game, the run defense was solid. It sounds like, again, you're not taking guys to the ground, so it's hard to really know. But the pass game defense, not up to par. And that is the concern, right? That is the concern, is that this defense, for all the talent that is back there, has to be better. And again, it's a joint practice. Take it with a grain of salt. Don't overreact. It's a joint practice. It's the first one. They're still trying stuff out. Like, this is the time, and we heard Coach Witt say, I'm going to put our guys in some tough spots just to see how they react. This could have been one of those times where you put them out there in some tough situations, in some, basic looks just to see how they handle it, some vanilla stuff, see how they do with that. Patriots might have ate it up. At some point, I want to see these guys turn loose. We playing man, but let's play some man. And I think you're going to see that next week against the Bengals in the preseason game, because they're going to put their best out there. We're going to put our best out there. And that's going to be your best opportunity to see what we look like as a defense. If we get carved up by them, it's still Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and Joe Burrow. Like, there's nothing to hang your hat about if you get carved up by them. But it just shows that maybe we're not going to be as good defensively in the secondary as I thought. If you slow them down, I'm not telling you got to shut them down, but you got to slow them down at least. And remember, I sit here and I talk about the secondary. Pass rush and coverage go hand in hand, right? You got to get to the quarterback. You got to get to the quarterback and affect the passer. If he's back there building a house, I don't give a damn how good the coverage is. Eventually, somebody's going to get open. So you got to take that into consideration as well. Was the pressure there up front? That's one of the concerns we have is, will we be able to get consistent pressure on the quarterback? How far down the field were these passes that are being thrown? We know a couple of them were hit on play action fake, which requires time for the quarterback. But were these a bunch of little quick hitters, slants? We had a lot of slants, a lot of shallow crosses, a lot of balls coming out of the quarterback's hands extremely quick. In those instances, it is what it is. So we'll get a better sense of what transpired when we hear from all the beat reporters that were on hand. But it was a rough day for the defense. No doubt about it. It doesn't matter how you try to slice it. The defense struggled. The pass defense struggled. And whether you want to put the blame on the secondary or the D-line or the linebackers or all of them, they didn't play well today. They didn't play well today. So it's the first joint practice, y'all. I said all of that to say this. Don't overreact. Don't get your shit all in a bunch and don't, be going crazy over a joint practice. I told you the biggest thing is, and we didn't hear that anybody went down with an injury. That's the biggest thing. I told you we could look at we got the worst joint practice known to mankind as long as we come out of this thing healthy, because the starters aren't playing on Friday. So as long as we come out of this shit, no worse for the wear. That is the biggest thing. That's what happened. We came out of this thing healthy, got some work in, got some things that they can look at on film and get better because of it. Came away with an interception. That's a good thing, right? So there were some positives, but you want to see the defense perform better. And I think they will. I'm pretty confident that they will. But today wasn't a great day for the defense. So anyway, I digress. Got a super chat and then we'll get out of here. Don't want to hold you here longer than I need to. Got a few comments, actually. Derek B, been a member for 46 months. Salute, who writes, list the 31-year-old receivers you would give $30 million over 3 years the last 5 years. I don't know what that list is, Derek B. I told you like to argue. You're a right fighter. That's what my wife calls people like you. You're a right fighter. You want to be right. The list is small, very, very minute. I could even tell you that the list of receivers that have had multiple 1,000-yard receiving seasons past the age of 30 is very short. It's very short. Like Reggie Wayne, Larry Fitzgerald, it's like 4 dudes long. But Terry could be one of those dudes that's an exception to the rule. He's more likely to be the exception to the rule than most. You could say the same thing about Derrick Henry. Look at what he's doing at his age. Running backs don't do that, but he's the exception to the rule. Terry's game is going to age well. So all this conversation, I don't give a shit about what other guys are doing. I'm just telling you what my guy is capable of doing. Terry's game is a lot closer to Reggie Wayne and Larry Fitzgerald's game than it is somebody that's purely reliant upon speed. I don't think DK Metcalf's game is going to age well. Reggie Wayne's game ages well. Why? Because he was never truly reliant upon his speed. Terry McLaurin led the NFL in highest contested catch percentage. That's not going to change if you're 32 years old. That isn't going to change at 33. The ability to catch the football when somebody's in your hip pocket is a skill that Terry has possessed from day one. That's not going away. So again, I don't know the point that you're trying to make, but Terry isn't just any receiver. So Mike Evans is on that list. Again, Terry is one of those type of receivers. Frankie, yo. Thank you for being a member for 39 months. Salute to you. Who writes, so happy football is back. Let's enjoy the ride. Man, it's going to be a fun season. Man, this is going to be a fun season. Speaking of which, let me go ahead and quickly promote the Commanders Kings live event August 24th at Crystal City Sports Pub in Arlington, Virginia. Doors open at 5 p.m. We're going to have so much fun at this event. 53-man roster projections, season prediction, toast to the season, and more, giveaways, etc. You name it, we're going to do it. We're going to have a lot of fun. Tickets are $45. Less than 100 or less than 50 tickets, excuse me, are available. The tickets are going fast. You want to be in the building, don't wait. Get your tickets. The link to that is in the description of this and every single video that I've done since we made the announcement. Also, if you're a mod, do me a favor, drop that link in the comment section of the chat so that those who want to head over and cop some tickets can do that. Looking forward to meeting a lot of you. Looking forward to having a blast with the Kings. I've never met any of them in person. So as I've said numerous times, the chemistry on screen with us is through the roof. I can't imagine how much better it's going to be with us all in the same building. So looking forward to chopping it up with them and looking forward to meeting all of you August 24th, Crystal City Sports Pub in Arlington, Virginia. Come check out the Kings. Let's have a blast together. So GT7, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. GT7 writes, we heard the same at the Jets joint practice. I ain't worried about the O-line. I'm not worried at all about anything right now. Like, I'm just not giving the defense the benefit of the doubt. I still think this secondary is going to be good. I think Trey Amos is going to be good. I think Mikey Sainristil is going to be good. I think Marshawn Lattimore is going to be good. So more specifically, the cornerback room. But the defense as a whole, I'm going to reserve judgment on because I don't know what this D-line is going to do. I don't know if Jordan McGee can stay healthy. Clearly, that's been an issue, and he's already banged up. I've already said he's going to be a huge part of what we do defensively. They had a package in there for him last year. They didn't get to utilize it because he was hurt. He's already banged up. So I got to wait to see what this defense is going to look like. I'm not worried about anything right now. The joint practice, this joint practice went better than the one that we had with the Jets last year. Way better. Probably kind of similar, though, in terms of how well the Patriots threw the football. But as I've mentioned, these joint practices are really set up for the offense to be successful. They really, truly are. Mike Jink, what's going on? Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. Been a member for 33 months. Who writes, Lemon Pepper Lou, what's good? Man, I'm on y'all high parts this year. Coming for everybody, just not, he said, not just Tiff. We gonna see. We gonna see. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it. Make sure you sign up. If you've already signed up, I'm gonna start sending out those emails, those confirmation emails to everyone who's already signed up. And what Mike Jink is referring to are the Louie T Network exclusives, the Survivor Pool, the Winners and Losers League, and the Weekly Pick'em. If you haven't signed up, mods, do me a favor, drop those links in the comment section of this video. I'm going to put out a video for that probably next week to start to, really get the juices flowing with that as we get into the swing of things with the preseason. probably put out another video next week. That'll be the big one to start getting people. Most people are procrastinators. They're gonna wait till the last minute anyway. But I need a dub. Like, this is the year. Like, I'm feeling good, but I feel good every year, so that doesn't mean anything. But I'm pretty sure I finished better than you last year. I'm pretty sure I did. That could be wrong. I think I finished better than you. You were struggling. You were fighting with your wife last year. You were fighting with your wife. I think you barely kept your head above that water. So I don't even know if I'm worried about you, Mike Jink. I could be tripping, and you could have been way better than me last year because I wasn't great last year. But in any event, all love. Looking forward to competing against you this year and getting the dub. Tommy T, stand up. You are the newest member of the MOBB Mob. You know what to do. Show Tommy T some love. Welcome him with open arms. So glad to have you on board. Welcome to the squad, Tommy T. Just Andre, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. Just Andre writes, didn't hear Amos. Wonder if that's a good thing. Yeah, it's a good thing. You know, and again, we'll get all of those reports from the reporters as to who did what and how, but we didn't hear his name at all. Like, we heard Marshall Lattimore gave up a touchdown. They didn't, like, the Patriots beat reporters aren't going to give you name-specific guys for the Commanders. That's not their job. That's why I said our beat reporters didn't really help us out, because they would have been more specific on our end. So if a touchdown gets thrown, right, they're going to tell you who caught the touchdown on our team. Whereas on the Patriots side, they're going to tell you who gave up the touchdown. Or if the Patriots throw a touchdown pass, they're going to tell you Drake made to Pop Douglas, or Drake made to Mac Hollins, or Drake made to Kayshon Boutte. They're not going to tell you who was in there on coverage. We got that one time, and that was on Marshall Lattimore on the coverage on the Kayshon Boutte back shoulder fade. So some of those passes could have been completed on Trey Amos, and we just don't know it. They just didn't throw his name out there because they might not even know who he is number-wise, right? So I'm pretty sure he got his share of fair work today too. Like, nobody, you know, when keep in mind, it weren't a bunch of attempts out there. Drake May might have had 16 pass attempts today, 17 max. So it's not like they were out there for a ton of attempts throwing the football. Dobbs went off, but he did it against the second team. Amos wasn't out there for that. So just keep that in mind. It wasn't a lot of attempts. So take everything with a grain of salt. I still worry about the depth at safety. And I want to see what this pass rush looks like. I want to lay eyes on that, though. It's hard to assess things when guys aren't allowed to hit and take you to the ground. That's why the skirmish happened with Travion Henderson and Commanders defender. Maybe it was Von Miller. Is because they went to the ground. And that just, Will Campbell got in, and all of a sudden it just turned into something, because you're not supposed to be taking anybody to the ground. So again, hard to assess when real football isn't necessarily being played. This is a little bit more physical 7-on-7 with 11 guys on the field. So I'll be more harsh in my assessment. I'll be more definitive in how I feel when I see it in an actual game. Like, when we watch the preseason game, you're going to see a lot more of the young guys getting opportunities. We'll be able to talk definitively about who looked good, who didn't then. Will Josh Dobbs be 18 of 22 in the preseason game? No, he won't be. He won't be. It'll be a lot different. So we'll see what happens. That's why I said don't get too worked up about this. Jamal Hamlin, been a member for 24 months. Happy 2-year anniversary. Who writes, what's good, Lou? I'm just glad football is back. Last year, your motto was it feels different because it is different. What's this year's motto? I don't know. I don't think about these things beforehand and say this is going to be this year's motto. Like, I'm pretty sure DQ last year, had anybody, anywhere, anytime. And I don't know, like, that was obviously something that they live by. That's a moniker. They got that up on the walls. But sometimes you just say something and it resonates, it sticks, and you're like, that's good. I should say that again and again and again. And then I haven't said anything yet that I'm like, hey, that was good. I like that. Let's run with that. I haven't done that. Like, it feels different because it is different. Was in the spur of the moment, and I just stayed with it. So I haven't done that yet. But this year is all about proving that last year wasn't a fluke. So it'll be something around that, right? Whatever I end up saying in the moment when we're talking about it, that's catchy, that makes sense. It'll be something about that, because that's what this year is about. This year is about us proving that last year was no fluke, that we're here to stay. This is who we are now. Shadow Striker 789. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, yo, I did the forms for winners and losers in my weekly pick'em pool, sent the sign-up fee, but didn't get any confirmation emails. Should I email? No, you're good. You're going to get a if you've signed up and you've done everything on your end, I haven't sent out a single confirmation email. So don't worry about anything. If you've signed up and you know you've done what you're supposed to do, and you received an email back saying your registration form was submitted, you're good. And then I'll double check. Obviously, I'll cross-reference that with, your registration fee. And if I see that it's there, you'll get a confirmation email. I haven't sent out any yet. It's just been a crazy week, so I haven't sat down and done anything yet. But I'm definitely going to start doing that probably this weekend. And this weekend is going to be crazy too. I already know, with the game on Friday, got some family obligations on Saturday. Sunday is probably going to be the first time I get to sit down, but then the kids are going to be swirling around. You know how that goes. So it'll probably be early next week when I finally get a chance to dig in to those and start sending those out. But no worries. No worries. If you didn't get it yet, that's because I haven't sent it out. So you've done everything on your end. I got to take care of business on mine. So that's not a you problem. That's a me problem. Shaking my head. I meant Survivor Pool, not weekly pick'em. It's all good. It's all good. If it's all there, if you filled it out, I'm going to see it. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Shadow Striker 789. No worries. If it's there and you filled it out, trust me, you're good to go. All right. I'm going to make sure I take care of business. So anyhow, that, my friends, is going to do it for this joint practice live react. That was fun. Yeah, we went through the joint practice. We pretty much know what happened at joint practice now. Right now, all we got to do is have the beat reporters fill in the gaps. Who did what? Who looked good? Who didn't? Where they struggled? Where they can be better? Etc. Etc. We know Tunzel killed it. We know Jaden looked solid today. We know the offensive line, for the most part, the first team group, looked really good. We know in 1v1s, our offensive line, the interior specifically, struggled. Nick Allegretti got posterized by Christian Barmore. We know all of these things, right? We're on it. We know that the secondary struggled in coverage. Did the pass rush struggle? Or did, Drake May complete some passes where he might have been sacked there? Jaden Daniels completed a couple of passes where, don't know, he might have been sacked there, but, can't hit the quarterback, so he still got the ball off. Could we say the same thing about Drake May's completions? Who knows? John Comm and all those guys will fill us in. Candy will do her thing, and we'll get better feel for what transpired today. But Friday's preseason game going to be big for a lot of the younger guys looking to make their mark, those second-year players looking to take that jump, the first-year guys as rookies trying to make their mark. Should be a lot of fun. Feel good. We forced a turnover today. Hey, how about that? Zach Ertz continues to look like, well, Zach Ertz. Great. Debo caught a touchdown. What's new? Glad to see that continues, right? So Laramie Tunsil, as advertised, hell yes. So a lot of good, a lot of not so good, and I bet when we find out there's a lot in between, which is what you expect from the first joint practice of the summer. So with that said, I'm going to glide to the side, allow you guys to enjoy the rest of your afternoon. I will be back later on this evening with the Commanders Kings. We will be live breaking down the joint practice, talking about all the takeaways from the joint practice. We'll be previewing the preseason game for Friday. It's going to be a jam-packed show tonight. You don't want to miss it. You want to be there. Speaking of not wanting to miss anything, you don't want to miss the Commanders Kings live. Not tonight, which you don't want to miss either. I'm talking about live together in person for the first time in the history of the Commanders Kings, August the 24th at Crystal City Sports Pub in Arlington, Virginia. Tickets are going fast. Less than 50 tickets exist. Only 150 tickets are being sold. We got less than 100 tickets available for sale. Tickets are going quickly. $45 a ticket. Get you in the building to be a part of what's going to be an excellent, tremendous, splendiferous show by the Commanders Kings. You want to be there in person to experience this event. It's going to be unlike any that you've been to before. Looking forward to you guys coming out. Link is in the description of this video. Link is already in the chat of this video as well. So if you have any comments, questions, or concerns about the event, need more information, email me, your man Louie T, at LouieTeeNetwork@gmail.com. Until next time, I'm your man Louie T, signing off. You guys enjoy the rest of your day. Take care. Solid start for the Commanders in their first joint practice against a different team this summer. We'll get more information on what transpired today, but we pretty much got a good handle on what took place. Solid showing. Most important thing, no injuries. Consider it a win. I'll see you next time.